welcome to my knitting podcast. My name is Monika and this is episode 25. Yes, it's been quite a busy week. I have a lot to talk about, but not necessarily so much knitting. We'll see. I can start with what I'm wearing. This is a t-shirt that I've knit myself with my own pattern, I guess. I'm in the process of writing it up. Earlier this week I had a bit of an accident. I washed this t-shirt with regular clothes instead of with a wool wash. And I had a slight panic attack thinking I had completely ruined it. And was crying for half an hour because it looked so small coming out of the washer. So I hung it up to dry and hoping it would stretch out in length at least. Then crossed my fingers and hoped everything would be okay. And it did shrink, actually quite a lot. The sleeves used to be closer to elbow length, and the length of the t-shirt now, it hits almost exactly at my belly button. It used to be a few centimeters longer, and this V-neck used to be slightly lower, not a lot, it was very modest, but I would say you can no longer tell it's a V-neck, more like it almost looks like it's supposed to be straight. I mean, it could have been worse. Also, my husband said, "Why are you sorry? This is just an excuse to buy more yarn and knit more." And I'm like, I'm sad because this is my favorite t-shirt. And it used to be perfect and now it's a bit smaller than I prefer. I could still wear it today. We had a concert earlier today. And this usually is my choir outfit. So I'm very happy I was able to wear it. And yeah, still it is shorter than I would prefer. So I did acquire more yarn, though it hasn't come in the mail yet. And I'm gonna knit the same t-shirt just with slightly longer sleeves and slightly longer body in the same color, so I can still wear it to choir concerts and things like that. So yeah, there's some details here that I don't think you can see in this light. There's this raglan details, eyelet details, that I have no idea if you're able to see at all. It's always very difficult when you're... There, you can maybe see it. Yeah, there you go. Black yarn does not show it off the best. So yeah, this is not very easy to show. But you have like raglan details that look like small trees maybe, going down on either side of the shoulder. So yeah, that's what I'm wearing. It's made out of Untold cotton merino in the colorway jet black. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this at the moment. It will come up again later. Yeah, I have one finished object this week and 3 projects I'm working on and 1 new cast on. And the new cast on is one that I'm actually very excited about, but I'll leave it for now. And I'll show you the finished object. I think if you've been here before you can probably guess which one it is, even though it's only been on the needles for less than 7 weeks. It is a project that I really loved working on, and it flew off the needles, to be honest. So here it is. This is, oh, now the camera's weird again. There you go. This is my Winter's Night Enchantment sweater, which I've shown you the wrong way around, apparently. Yeah. I knit this for a friend of ours, so I'm gonna send it in the mail as soon as it's been blocked, because it hasn't been yet. Though I don't think I'll be able to block it and send it in May. We might have to wait for June to send it. Yeah, this is a pattern by Drops Design, and it's knit out of Drops Karisma in the colorway navy and Morning Fog. Yeah, I loved knitting up this sweater. It was super fun, super enjoyable. It was very nice having a pattern where I didn't actually have to think a lot. The increases are done by like dividing the increases evenly in one round, so like increase 40 stitches over the next round or something like that. It varied from round to round, obviously. And the site with pattern do include a calculator, so you can figure out roughly how often you need to do it. And I just shuffled around because it usually said like have 8 stitches in between for 14 rows or 14 times, and then have 7 for 5 times, and then have 8 stitches in between for another 7 rounds or something, 7 times. So it was like it did kind of bunch the increases more in the front than in the back, and I figured I wanted more evenly spread, so I just shuffled it about a bit. Wow, that was not easy to say. Yeah. But yeah, I'm knit the size 3XL or XXXL as it says on the site. They don't operate with 2 or 3XL, it just says XXXL. So yeah, I'm knitting the largest size. Okay. I did do some slight modifications. I did, when I split for sleeves, you're still working the yoke pattern, and you're actually supposed to do some increases after splitting for sleeves, because you split on sleeves based on how long you've knit instead of where you are in the pattern. I skipped the increases I was supposed to do in the body after splitting for sleeves, and I added 1 extra stitch underneath each arm so that the pattern would more easily work with the body pattern, because I would get the correct stitch counts to do this part. And I think also that meant that I had the correct stitch counts for the rest of the pattern. So yeah, I did do some increases before doing the hem, because you go down quite significantly on the needle size for the hem and also for the cuffs. So you also increase before the cuffs to avoid it cinching in too much and also make it look nice. And I did end up with the same amount of stitches for or approximately the same amount of stitches. No, actually maybe the exact same number for both the hem and the cuffs as you're supposed to have. Or maybe for the size smaller, I don't remember. But all in all, I'm very happy. It took me several hours to weave in all the ends. I used a lot of yarn, but not as much as I thought, because I had a lot of the blue or the navy left over compared to what I thought I was gonna have. But I have like made my husband try it on and measured on him, and I also measured the length of the sleeves compared to the measurements I got from Danny, who's the recipient. And as far as I can tell, everything seems correct, but I used significantly less of the navy than I thought I would compared to what the pattern says. The pattern said you're going to use 750 grams, which means 15 balls of the drops Karisma. But I think I only used like 10 and a half. It was like crazy difference. So I have a lot left over of this yarn. I did buy more than I needed just in case I did have to like do some changes to make sure it actually fit. Thankfully I didn't have to do that. Or I didn't have to do changes to make it fit, but I did make changes to make the pattern prettier. So yeah. I love this project. It was super fun. I can really understand why people love working with color work. It was just super enjoyable in every way. So yeah, I don't think I have anything more to say about this. I do actually think after knitting this that I would like a similar colorwork pattern for myself. I can understand why people both love to wear them and love to knit them. Though I don't think I'm gonna knit this particular pattern again, mostly just because I've done it once. And there are a million others that are also free, so I can choose a different one and still have fun. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And this one was very comfortable just having on top of myself. Oh no, the cat just... her food dispenser went off and she was sleeping next to me, so I just gonna have to pause a tiny bit and let her out of the room. Give me a moment. Okay, I think I won't have any more disturbances right now, though she will probably be standing outside the door in like 10 minutes and cry, but I'm not letting her in again. So yeah, it's her last meal of the day, so she's been waiting eagerly. We have this food dispenser because we both me and my husband work quite long hours during the day and also sometimes need to work overtime, and we don't want to be dependent on other people to come and feed her. So yeah, it's a lot easier both for us and for her, and also make sure that we don't double feed her, because we're trying very hard to keep her weight at the same level it is now, to avoid her gaining weight now that she's quite elderly. She's 12, so yeah. Anyway, I think I said everything I wanted about this sweater. It hasn't been blocked yet, but I'm very, very pleased with it so far. And just in case you want to see some more of the floats, I'm very happy. This is just super nice. You can actually see where I wove in one of the ends because the end is like sticking out. But all in all, I think it looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna wash it. I'm gonna check that none of the ends came out, block it, and dry it. I don't think I'm gonna have time to block and dry it until after we get back from the trip we're taking next week, because I don't think I'm gonna soak this by hand. I think I'm gonna put it in the washer, but I'm going to remember to do it on a wool program, because I'm not gonna do that mistake again. And I'm gonna chuck it in alone. It's big enough that I don't think it matters that much. But yeah, putting it there. Yeah. I'm gonna show the three projects that I have had on needles for quite a while now before I show the new cast on, just because it makes it more interesting towards the end. That is in my opinion. So yeah. The first project is a sock project. You've seen it before. It's these vanilla socks. I am still on the first sock, but I got through the heel and gusset decreases and all of that, and are now almost at the toe decreases. I think this is going to be the project that I'm working on while editing. So hopefully I will be done with one cuff and can cast on the one sock, and cast on the cuff for the second one. Oh, sorry, I had a hiccup. Cast on the second sock before I go to choir practice on Tuesday. I think this is the project I'm gonna... Or maybe I can try and get done with both socks before we leave on Wednesday. I have a project that I'm planning on doing during the plane ride and all of that. It's actually the new cast on. So yeah. This one kind of seemed like too small of a project to bring. I would be very bored if this was the only project I brought. Though maybe I should just get done with the first sock and bring this as soon as I cast on the other sock, and just have it as a backup during the trip. Because at some point I'm probably gonna be bored with the other project and I just want something different. Maybe. I'm gonna have to think about this a bit. Anyway, it's a vanilla sock, nothing special. It's 64 stitches. I did go up to 2.25mm needles because I figured when I'm knitting in the round on Shaigu needles, I knit a bit tighter than I usually do when I do magic loop or DPNs. This yarn is Anita Strikketante in the colorway orange. And I do think this might be my favorite sock yarn. Though I'm not sure, because at the moment I have only knit out of 2 different yarns. And I do really like the other one too, so who knows. But yeah. Is there anything else to say about this pattern? 64 stitches, I think I used like 20-30 rounds for the leg. I don't know how many rows I'm gonna do before I do the toe decreases. I'm gonna try the sock on, and as soon as I'm like past my pinky, I'm gonna start doing the decreases. And then perhaps I will count and try and figure out if this is the perfect size, and then I can just replicate it the next time I'm using the same yarn, which I do have a lot of. Just this orange one, I have 2 untouched skeins, and I also have a bunch of yellow, this green one, the pink one. So yeah, I do think I have a lot, and I will also probably I will be able to make almost 2 pairs of socks with just 1 skein, depending on how much extra yarn I get. I use more than 50 grams for a sock pair, but not by a lot, like a gram or 2, maybe 4 at most. So yeah, hopefully I will be able to. Then again, I can just do a contrast heel or toe or something, and I will be able to use up most of my yarn. I'm thinking the next sock I'm going to cast on is not going to be Anita Strikketante. It's probably going to be one of the more variegated ones to make it more interesting. Though this one is actually very variegated, surprisingly so, because when I'm just looking at the skein or this one, I don't think it looks that variegated, to be honest. So I was very surprised with how light some of the parts are and how dark other parts are. But yeah, I've been enjoying it. Haven't gotten a lot of love, even though I'm done with like this much, because my highest priority have been the Winter's Night Enchantment sweater. Though I did give a lot of love to the new cast on in the past 2 days, because I started like 3 days ago. As soon as I was done with that one, I cast on a new one. That's just how I work. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this sock project. I have very small feet, but I knit very tightly, that's why I still use 64 stitches. Yeah. I don't think I have anything more to say about this one. So I'm just gonna put it away. See if I can change this a bit around. The next 2 projects you have seen before. Those are both sweaters, though, yeah, in various stages, I guess. What are you doing there? Cat hair everywhere. I did transfer some of the some of the yarn or stitches on this sweater onto a different pair of needles, just because I needed to see how big this had gotten and if my gauge was off and all of that. But at the moment, turns out I'm exactly where I thought I was and all of that, so that's exciting. this is my red sweater. Doesn't have an official name yet. That's why I just call it my red sweater. It is made out of light fingering yarn. It's Strikkekista Potensial in the colorway Lollipop. And it's 600 meters per 100 grams. And I knit it on 2.5mm needles. Very small. It's been a very long-term project, and I'm not that far off being able to split for sleeves. And that was I thought I would knit on this until I could split for sleeves and put the sleeves on hold, so that this would be the project I would bring to the vacation next week. But because of the distress with this sweater, this t-shirt, I decided to do something else. Anyway, I really do love this sweater. It's gonna be a summer sweater, obviously. It's 50% merino, 50% silk. Superwash merino. And other than that, I mean, you've seen it a million times before already. And even though I have knit quite a lot on it, it barely shows up because the rows are so short. So I did knit like 8 rows, but that's like an inch at most. So yeah, I'm very glad I did transfer half of the stitches over to different needles. I'm gonna transfer them back to the original needles because this other needle set is shorter than the first one. Yeah. I still don't quite know what I'm gonna do when I'm gonna transfer the stitches for the sleeves on this one, because I do not have any wires, or call it whatever, that are like short enough. Maybe I'm just gonna transfer them to these needles, the ones that are extra, and knit the magic loop. I could do that. Just knit both of the sleeves at the same time. I do not know if I'm gonna do a lot of decreases on them. I haven't thought that much yet. Maybe I'll just knit this like down to the elbow, because then I don't need to do a lot of decreases. They can just be straight sleeves. Yeah. I haven't thought about the sleeves yet. I have read up the pattern for the rest of the body. The sleeves are the part that I'm struggling a tiny bit with, because I don't know how tight the sleeves will be yet. I do suspect they will be quite fitted, but then again, it is a summer sweater, so I don't think that's going to be a big problem. I'm probably going to wear like a singlet or a very tight t-shirt underneath, so it's not like it's going to be bulky. It's not going to be on top of something bulky. Yeah. This yarn came in 100 gram skeins, and these 2 balls are all I have left of the first skein. I do still have 2 more, as you might be able to see here. Yeah. Yeah. My cat accidentally bit over the yarn when I was winding it up, so that's why I have like this slightly smaller part. I have used some of this for the collar, because I knit the collar after I had cast on for the rest of the body. I picked up stitches and knit a double folded neckband, and I used this ball for that. So when I'm done with this ball, I will probably pick off the sleeves and knit them until I'm satisfied, and then knit the body until it's the length I want it. Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. Yeah, so that's this project. Is there anything else to say? Oh yeah, it's a very fun shoulder construction. It might be contiguous shoulder construction or perhaps a saddle shoulder. I think perhaps a saddle shoulder is when you knit the stripes that are on top of the shoulder separate, and that it's called contiguous when you just make the raglan increases to make it look this way. Or not raglan increases, but like the same principle, I guess. It looks very nice. I'm very happy. Yeah. Can't wait to wear it. Hopefully I will get it done this summer so I can start wearing it already this year instead of having to wait until next year, or maybe even I don't want to wear it for Christmas for the first time, because then I'm always gonna think of it as a Christmas sweater instead of what it's supposed to be. You can get my dilemma, I guess. But yeah, I'm gonna have to do something with this needle thing later. I couldn't be bothered when I had transferred them and then like put it all and all of that and saw it was and measured it, made sure everything was the way I wanted it to. After that I just couldn't be bothered putting the needles back in order. So yeah, that's that. I think I don't want to put it down there because of all the cat hair, but if I put this up here, yeah, I have a plastic bag or something I can just put it on, or like more like a tote. Okay, now it won't get too much cat hair. The last project that you've seen before is also a sweater. It is my cable sweater, which at the moment is a bit difficult to show because I can't find the right side up. There it is. So, okay. My cable sweater. So yeah, I'll start with the yarn. It's made out of Lille garn. No, Rille. I'm sorry. The first one was made out of Lille garn. This one is made out of Rille, thick merino, which is a sock yarn. It's a DK sock yarn in the colorway Misty Mountains. I did say that when I ran out of yarn, which I did last time, I think, I'm pretty certain, that I ran out of the yarn for the body, and then I was gonna do the sleeves so I could see how much yarn I had left over to figure out whether or not I needed the extra backup skein of a different color, just in case. And also, if I just spend long enough, maybe Rille will come to a yarn show that's in June, and maybe I don't need to use that skein, but I can instead buy the same color again. Anyway, I did pick up for the sleeves, and to be honest, I think I did a poor job of it. So I'm gonna rip out the like 2 runs I did and pick up again, and then just knit the sleeves according to the pattern. I have already written, or not written the pattern, but I have my notes for it, so I will write up the pattern and eventually release it, though it won't be during May. May has been and is going to be a very, very busy month. I'm hoping that when this month is done and we're done with all the weekend activities and vacation and conferences and all of that, that I can just sit down one day and write up all the patterns. I don't know if I'm gonna release them all at the same time or if I'm gonna like announce it to Instagram or something. I am gonna let you know when and if a pattern is available, though it has been a tiny bit slow going lately. Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna pick up the sleeves again. The reason why I stole these needles to finish Winter's Night Enchantment sweater because both of them are knit up on 4mm needles. And I have now put my needles back into place, not remembering that I actually need them for this. Though I'm gonna use the shorter needles instead of the long needles because this was very cumbersome doing with the big needles. Yeah, I just, at the moment there's no needles on this, I just stuck the needle stoppers right onto the cord. So yeah, there's nothing, no needles here. I think perhaps I'm gonna do, perhaps I should just pick up the stitches on this one before I do anything else, because at the moment it's like I don't want to do anything with any of my already going knits because I'm really enjoying doing something completely different, which I will tell you about in a few minutes. But yeah, I don't think if I don't fix this quite soon, it's gonna linger for ages. And also I think I should just get the red one split for sleeves as soon as possible, so that can become my mindless in the round knitting. And I really do need to get done with the socks. So yeah, there's been a lot of things going on and very little progress on these knits. I don't think, yeah, like literally I've only knit 2 rounds on this sleeve. And then I saw that I wasn't going to be happy with how it was, but I didn't have I was doing this during a choir practice, which is stupid. You shouldn't pick up stitches during a choir practice. You have to put it down all the time because you gotta look at some of your sheet music, or because you're sitting down and standing up and all of that. So you need mindless knitting in the round things for choir practice. So yeah, didn't quite work out the way I wanted. So I'm gonna do this again. And perhaps I should just, if I either skein up the other skein I have, like skein it up, or rather like make it into a ball. If I do that with that one, I can do both sleeves at the same time, or I can just use both ends from this one, which is probably going to be easier, just so that I can do both sleeves at the same time. Maybe I should do them magic loop. I usually do magic loop. If I position them so that the end of the row marker or the beginning of row marker face each other, then I will always be on the same row on both of them, which will be good. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that, because then I'll just magic loop one and then do the same on the other one, so I'm kind of like back in the middle between them, and then I don't even need the marker for the beginning of round, because they're gonna be facing each other. I think that might be the best way to do it, because then it's like I'm either on a decrease row on both or not, and I'm also on a cabling row on both or not. So it's gonna be easier to keep track of, I think. And I don't have to stress about remembering to decrease on both of them at the same time by making them even, because if it's a decrease round, you decrease on both of them. I think that might be the best way to do it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. That means I'm gonna have to have different needles, or not needles, cables. I gotta find longer ones, and I'm still gonna do it with my yoga needles, because I really do like this. For sock knitting, I prefer the Shigu needles because I have the shorter needles. For the rest of the knitting, I usually prefer the yoga meditation needles or something like that. They're very sharp, and I do love the swivel cords. That is a very neat feature that I love. And yeah, I do have some, I think they're Knit Pro needles that are like the denim pack or something like that, which are really, really short, and I love those when it comes to small circumference knitting in the round, except for socks, because they only go down to a 3mm needle size. But those are very comfortable when it's like just knitting up sleeves, or my own pair of socks that I released, the Under the Oak socks. They are knit on 3mm needles, and knitting those on those wooden Knit Pro needles are very, very comfortable. Yeah. But I do think that now that I have talked about this project, I actually have an idea of what I'm going to do. Gonna find the pair of long needles, gonna knit this magic loop 2 sleeves at a time until I have the sleeve length I want before the cuff. And then I'm gonna knit the body until I have the body length that I want before the hem. And then I'm gonna see how much yarn do I have left. Do I have enough for just the cuffs, just the hem and cuffs, collar. I'm gonna knit collar, not double folded as the other sweater, but just a normal collar and not with a raised collar, so that it will be reversible. The front and back will be the same on this version of the sweater. Yes. I do think that's all I have to say about this sweater at the moment. I really do have to prioritize fixing this before I start with the sock knitting, and the same with the red sweater. I think I'm gonna fix this first, get them on magic loop needles, then get the red one in the round, and perhaps even see how far I need to go before I can split for sleeves. And after that, I'm gonna do the socks, because I don't have that much further on the one sock, so perhaps I will even get that done today if the red sweater is closer to splitting for sleeves than I think it is. I think I have like 12 rows left, and I do have more than 400 stitches on the needles at the moment, so yeah, I think I have close to 600. It's insane. So it's gonna take me all night, probably. But yeah, I'm hoping to get this magic loop needles going, the red sweater, split for sleeves, and then focus on the socks, because I do want to save a new cast on for the trip we're leaving for in 3 days. In 3 days we're actually on concert. Maybe even done with the concert? No, I don't think so. We're probably at the concert in 3 days on Wednesday. I'm very happy. I'm so excited. Okay, I'll talk more about that later, because I still haven't shown you the last project, the new cast on, and I guess you might be as excited as I am, maybe? You might have been able to guess it already, since I spoke about this and the heartbreak. But I don't have any more of this black yarn. That's why I had to order more. But I do have a lot in other colors, as you might be able to see. All of this is cotton merino. And I was thinking, which one did I want to start with? And I was like, I want to save the striped one for later, so these two will more than likely be a striped t-shirt, and maybe one of each color. I do think I have enough yarn to do both. Don't know yet. Anyway, before I talk more, this is my, I guess, navy t-shirt. Yeah. I have barely connected the front after the v-neck, and split for sleeves. I was knitting furiously both during the concert and after the concert in the hopes that I would get this in the round and split for sleeves before showing it, because that was what I really wanted. So yeah, this one is knit out of Untold yarn, cotton merino, in the colorway Deep Sea. So yeah, get back there. Yeah. And all in all, I have already spoken about this yarn a lot before. I love it. It is one of my favorite summer yarns. It's super soft, it's not too hot, it's not too chilly. Some of my cotton t-shirts, if there's a slight wind, you freeze to death because there's nothing keeping in the heat. But this t-shirt is very perfect when it comes to if you run cold, or if you live in a windy climate, which we do. So yeah, I'm knitting it exactly the same as this one, though I might knit body longer and the sleeves a bit longer. Not like more than when I knit this the first time, because I do think, even though this one has shrunk, it wasn't that long to begin with, and I would like it to be like either at least half sleeve or perhaps even longer, depending on how much yarn I have. I don't remember if I used 6 or 7 balls for this t-shirt. If I used 7, I won't have enough yarn to make the sleeves longer. If I did 6, I will have enough. So yeah. Other than that, I'm knitting them on 3.5mm needles. The green sweater is knit on 4mm, which was why I decided to start on this project instead of my seascape pullover that I'm also planning on knitting. Though, to be honest, I think it was more the fact that I accidentally shrunk this one that made me want to knit it again right away, because I didn't take very good notes on this one at all. Or if I did, I can't even find the notes. I don't think I wrote down anything at all. Though I do remember that I did pick up only half the amount of stitches that you usually would for the I-cord, because the neckline looked very deep when I hadn't done it yet. I was very worried that it would be a bit too indecent as a choir practice, or rather choir concert outfit. You're not supposed to like draw too much attention to yourself in a choir. You're supposed to be one of many. And I also didn't realize when I knitted that it's supposed to be long sleeved. I thought the outfit was supposed to be half sleeve or shorter, but it was supposed to be half sleeve or longer. So I have, for the past year or so, had shorter sleeves than I would prefer to have, because it makes me stand out a slight bit compared to the rest. Yeah. So next one I will knit longer, at least the black one. I haven't gotten the yarn yet, so I haven't put it into my stash, though I did count out the stash from, or rather count out the yarn from stash for the Winter's Night Enchantment one. Yeah. What's more to say? Yeah. I have a lot of yarn, obviously. I technically didn't need to buy more yarn, but I really do want more than one of this t-shirt, and in a more appropriate size. At the moment it's very very short, and if I lift my hands above my head, I will reveal my midsection. And since this is supposed to be a choir t-shirt, choir outfit, I don't feel comfortable wearing this to concerts later. I knew it would be fine today because we don't have any choreography. We have no dance moves or anything that required lifting your hands above your head. So I knew that as long as I kept my hands by my sides, I would not show more skin than I was comfortable with. I was also wearing high-waisted black pants, so I knew I would be okay, but I was still tugging at it a bit right before the concert started to make sure it actually covered myself. Yeah. And I did bring a hoodie to have over before it was our turn, just because I wasn't comfortable sitting in just a t-shirt that was that short and tight-fitting and all of that. Also, it was quite cold in the room where we were going to sing. It was a stone room, so it's chilly, even though the weather has been wonderful today. So yeah. Okay, that's a good segue into the other things I'm going to talk about. This weekend has been extremely busy. I don't remember what we did on Friday, though I think we only gamed a bit and had a bit of fun. We're trying a new Minecraft mod, or new to me. It's not new to my husband. They're like villagers that build a base and are like townspeople, and we give them resources and they build stuff, and then we're like trying to protect them, and yeah, it's been quite fun. So yeah, me and my husband have been playing a bit of Minecraft lately. We did play a puzzle game called Lorelei with Laser Eyes or something like that. And it's been quite fun, but it's very challenging, mostly because we keep forgetting that we have found clues for things, because we found them like 5 sessions ago, and we've played so infrequently that we've forgotten that we found that note or that someone mentioned something. I mean, that's a us problem. I guess if we could play the whole game through in one sitting, we will probably not have that problem. And even though I do take notes while we play, because they're recommended in the opening thing of the game that you take notes and look through your notes, both the physical ones you have and also the ones in the game. Quite often, we still do miss things sometimes. So yeah. And also I'm very happy that my husband is a lot better with maps and navigation than I am, because all the labyrinth things would have been a lot more frustrating if he couldn't like orient himself as well as he does. I think I'm quite average when it comes to orientation. He is very very good. He can be inside a building without any windows, and he can point in the direction and say that's the way to this landmark, and he'd be right. So yeah. Sometimes that's annoying, but it's very handy where we're in the middle of Paris and trying to figure out how to get somewhere, and he's like, it's that direction, and I'm like, okay, I haven't looked at the map in 3 days because you always know where we are. So very comfortable. So yeah, Friday weekend we had fun. Saturday, yesterday, I went to a bachelorette party for my sister. She's getting married in the end of May, and the plans for the bachelorette party had been on hold for a little while because my sister and her fiance have been trying to get pregnant for over a year, and they did succeed, and now they're like 4 months into the pregnancy, I think. So yeah, she had a baby bump and all of that, and she's very happy. But the first trimester was very hard on her. She was very nauseous and very sick. So we had the bachelorette party planned for this weekend, but we had the plans on hold in case she was still feeling bad. But luckily, last week or maybe the week before, her symptoms finally improved, so she was able to enjoy herself and was able to get enough food in her system to have the energy to actually have a party. So we had quite a few fun party games without any alcohol involved, because we didn't want to make her feel left out, so we all went with a non-alcoholic theme. And we ate some good food at my grandma's, and we had all the party games, and when we had been there long enough, we went out to eat, because it was like 5 hours since we all arrived, and we ate and we had fun and we were talking, and my sister-in-law, the one that's dating my brother, told me that they haven't sent out the invitations yet because she doesn't want to take away the attention from my sister's wedding, but they're going to get married this summer, and they're also planning on starting a family as soon as the wedding is done. So I'm quite surprised. This has been quite quick, though I do think it's because they were very low-key with their engagement, so I didn't realize until today that the ring she's wearing is actually her engagement ring. So I kind of feel silly about that. Not today, I mean yesterday. The party was yesterday. So yeah, I was like, oh, that just flew completely over my head. Didn't know at all. They didn't have like a big extravagant engagement party. They just did privately, and then I think they did announce it on Facebook or something, but I'm so rarely on Facebook. I miss everything unless someone tells me specifically. Yeah. So I'm very happy for them. They're a good couple, and they bought their apartment, or they moved into their apartment at the same time me and my husband moved into ours last year. And another one of my sisters and her fiance also moved into an apartment, or their house actually, that same weekend. It was just a very busy weekend for everyone, which is also probably why I didn't realize they were engaged, because I do think they got engaged even either right before or right after they bought the apartment. The details are fuzzy. I didn't have that much time to ask yesterday. But we had fun. The food was good, the games were good, the talk was good, all of it. And the rest were planning on going to a concert that the fiance of my sister that is getting married in 2 weeks, her future husband is part of one of the bands. So they were going to that concert. I had already told them beforehand that this past week I've been quite ill quite a lot, so I didn't think I had the energy, if I even was well enough, to come to the bachelorette party in the first place. Luckily I did get well on Friday, well enough to go to work, and I was so exhausted. I almost fell asleep when I came home. I think maybe I even did sleep a little bit before we started gaming. So yeah. And then today we had a concert. This morning I slept really late. I think I went to bed relatively early, and I did fall asleep quite quickly, but for some reason I slept through everything. I don't think I woke up until after 9. It was super late, and that kind of threw a wrench into my plans for the day, because I knew I had to leave the house by 2:45 at latest, and I was planning on biking, so I would have to be on my bike on my way to leave by that time. That was the plan. But I also knew I had to shower and wash my hair, because I wasn't feeling like I was up to the hygienic standard of being out with people. So yeah. So the first thing I did when I did finally wake up was shower, wash my hair, and use the blow dryer, which I usually don't do because I usually get very frizzy hair. But I think I was able to like stop the drying process right before the hair was 100% dry, so that when it did dry 100% it wasn't too frizzy. And then I ate breakfast and I knit furiously. But I had promised my husband we were going to continue gaming a tiny bit because we didn't have time for that yesterday. And we really wanted to get further into the mod and see how this actually works. So I did try very hard to get the t-shirt split for sleeves before the concert, but I didn't finish it in time. But we played again for 2.5 hours approximately, and then I had to like run around the house or apartment and get everything ready for the concert. And then I biked to the concert, and I biked home. And then I was like, I do want to film the podcast tonight, and I really do want it to be split for sleeves before that time. Because or else it's another project where I haven't had the chance to split for sleeves yet, and it's just too much. But yeah. So I do think I'm now gonna try and resist working on that project until we're leaving on Wednesday. We are going to a concert in Oslo on Wednesday. So we're flying out, and yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna be a 3-day vacation. We both have taken days off from work from Wednesday to Friday. We were planning originally to just leave on Wednesday and come back on Thursday, but neither of us wanted to work on Friday the day after our vacation, so we was like, oh, we're gonna take that day off anyway. And then we were like, why don't we just extend our stay and actually spend some time in Oslo? And yeah, so now we have 2 nights in a hotel and concert first night, and the second day we're going to a restaurant called Dinner because we absolutely love the duck they have there. So I can't wait. It's my favorite meal. Every time we go to Oslo, we try to stop there. Once we had the timing was off, they were closed because of holidays. They close for both Easter and Christmas holidays, and I also think they're closed for quite a few weeks during the summer. So yeah, they're always very packed when they are open, so I can understand why they can kind of like feel like they can take care of their staff and everything and actually close because they know they make money anyway. So yeah, I understand that. It's a good philosophy. I am planning on going to a yarn store in Oslo called Strikkekista. And that is because that's where I order the Shaigu needles from. So I am hoping that I can go there and see more of the Shaigu needles and perhaps buy more. I have been enjoying the Shaigu fixed needles for sock knitting, and maybe I will like going back to Magic Loop if my needles are sharp enough, because these... Oh, I almost lost the yarn there. These Shaigu needles are a lot sharper than the needles that I have here. I don't know how easy it is to see. I can try and hold them up for the camera. Obviously these are not the same size. Oh no, what are you doing? Yeah, there you go. Like, these two. They're not the same size, but the Shaigu needle, this one, is a lot sharper than the regular, I think it's Sonnes garn needles, I think. Anyway, I'm thinking that I would probably enjoy knitting a lot more if I use sharp needles, because I have already seen that I like these ones more because they're sharper, and I like the yoga needles because they are sharper. I think those also are Knit Pro. My wood needles are not sharp, but they are quite enjoyable to use just because I get the in the round feeling. And I haven't had any problems with those so far. I've only had problems with these fixed needles because I think they're too blunt. And I also just in general don't enjoy fixed needles as much. They're okay for sock knitting, but yeah, I haven't liked fixed needles for other things in quite a while. And I also do not enjoy DPNs the same way. I do sometimes want to use DPNs for sock knitting, but I think the last time was just because I was so annoyed because the last pair of needles were so blunt that the DPNs that are also yoga needles, they're just so sharp in comparison. So I think I just enjoyed the fact that they were sharp, not necessarily that they were DPNs. I used those DPNs when... Oh no, I can't do that this time. Oh, that's a problem. These are the only 2.25 needles I have. Oh, that's a problem. I think that means I gotta have to buy more needles. Oh well, I know I'm going to Strikkekista during Oslo anyway, so I could just as well put these aside, I guess, until I get back. Okay, new plan. The socks will not be touched until I get back from vacation. Hopefully I will have a pair of a second pair of Shaigu needles or something else that I can use. Or DPNs. Yeah. I completely forgot that. I usually knit on 2mm needles and I don't think about it twice, but I do know maybe I can just do the toes with 2mm and just knit slightly looser. I mean, I do know that I knit looser on 2mm needles DPNs anyway. Oh, I gotta think about this. This was not something I had thought about before. But yeah, I'm gonna get the green one into magic loop, red one onto one pair of needles, this one until I get to the length I need before the toe decreases, and then I gotta have to decide whether or not I'm just gonna do them on DPNs or if I'm gonna wait. And then, while I'm gone, I'm gonna knit on the blue sweater, or t-shirt, the navy one. Yeah, I think that's the plan. Okay, I've been speaking for quite a while, and I do think I've told everything that's going on next week. Not quite. The reason why we didn't stay the weekend in Oslo is because the Saturday is 17th of May, which is Norway's Constitution Day. And we did not want to stay during all of that chaos. And also I'm going back to Oslo the week after for the conference that's there the week after. And I was like, should I just stay until that conference? But eventually we decided it would be too expensive and also too much things to do. Yeah. We're getting home relatively late on Friday, so we are going to have to just drop off our bags and leave for the store to buy the food we need both for Saturday and Sunday, because normal stores are closed on 17th of May and they are closed on Sundays anyway, so yeah. So we're gonna have to pick up food for the weekend and all of that as soon as we get back from the trip, to avoid having to like go out to eat or order. We can't go out on 17th anyway because everything will be super crowded. But yeah, just something simple we can have in the freezer or something. Maybe we even buy that on Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday. Just put something in the fridge so we don't have to think when we get back. Maybe. I think I'm gonna have to think about it a bit. I also just realized that I am super hungry because I forgot to eat dinner before I did this. That was the plan. Knit the t-shirt, eat dinner, then film. And instead I've been talking for an hour and I'm super hungry. So yeah, I'm gonna say bye right now. Go and eat some dinner and then edit this video and upload it tonight. So yeah. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope to see you next time. Maybe I have some more acquisition to show. I definitely will have the Untold yarn, but I probably will also have bought something in Oslo, perhaps. I wasn't planning on buying any more yarn, but it was a crisis, you know. It happens. But yeah, I am logging everything, and I'm also logging all the yarn I've been using, though I have only finished one project in May, but I'm very happy with that one, to be honest. Very, very happy. So yeah. Yeah, as I said, I hope you have enjoyed the video, and I'll see you later. Bye!